I love Five Kingdoms. You thought this was going to be a video where I was dissing on it? No, it's actually my favorite book ever in the world. Um, I've read it probably over 20 times, and that's kind of dumbing it down. I've probably read it more than that, but I'm just going to say 20. And I'll get into why later. But I'm going to do a quick recap because I do know Five Kingdoms has problems with it. It also has a lot of great things, and I'll get into that later. So if you don't want the recap, just skip ahead to this time code, but it'll be pretty quick recap. So chapter one, our story begins with Cole Randolph, our main character. He is like 12 and in sixth grade, which I will get into later, but that is really stupid with some of the things he does. He's 12. Keep that in mind. Um, he's in middle school. He and his friends, it's Halloween night. They're going trick or treating, and they want to go to a haunted house. They're a pretty big group of kids, but none of them really matter ever, except like two people. And those two people are Jenna and Dalton. And Jenna is his crush, and Dalton is his best friend. Those are the only two you should remember, except like Blake. But Blake doesn't come in till way later. He's just kind of a bully. They go into a haunted house because they hear it's really cool. But then it turns out the haunted house is a trap. There's slavers inside, and the slavers enslave everybody. There's a bunch of other kids there too, and they spring the trap and they're getting ready to leave. Cole actually hides. He like hides with this other girl, but he eventually goes with them anyway. So the slavers take his friends and all these other kids, and they bring him into this manhole. But the manhole, there's something up with it because it goes somewhere. It doesn't just go into the sewers because Cole goes down there after everyone leaves, and he's like, because he wants to be the hero, he wants to rescue his friends. As it turns out, it was actually a portal to another dimension. It was a Waymind portal, I guess. And this dimension is called the Outskirts. And the Outskirts is a fictional world, which I'll get into the rules later, but it's it's kind of like an in-between land, I guess, of like different planets and stuff. Cole, he's like trying to hatch a plan to save his friends because these different slavers, they all have them. But then he basically gets caught, and this is there's a lot of pages in between. I'm running through because one thing you'll notice about Five Kingdoms is there is so much exposition. I mean, we're from the perspective of Cole, but we hear every single thought Cole has. Like we hear his entire train of thought through every event. Like him come to conclusions, him thinking about stuff, which I like, but it also means we get so much details. So this is a very, very dumbed down version. Cole is at this point, he gets caught, and they're like, bro, like, why are you doing that? And he's the bad slave. He basically gets like pulled behind the wagon and like forced to walk while everybody's, because they have wagons, right? They're all these slavers are giving them a like mark. They're basically branding them into slaves. It's called a bond mark. And Cole gets one as well. They all get one. But the slavers do something, they test everybody for shaping potential. And Cole has absolutely none. He has zero, which is very strange. But they keep asking him a strange question, which is, did you come here on your own? And he did. But he lies because he didn't want this little guy who helped him get in trouble. So he's just like, no, I escaped. Like once we came through, I like hid. So they're like, wow, you suck. Like you're the worst slave ever. Shaping potential or shaping power is like the magic in this universe. Well, there's five kingdoms and then the one in the middle, and they each have their own like shaping kind of power. They each have their own magic system. And Cole is none. He sucks. So he's horrible. Eventually they like put him in a wagon and they take him off. And a couple things happen. Like there's this like talking smiley face in the wagon. He's like, what? But it is a semblance. And a semblance is it's Sambria is one of the five kingdoms, and a semblance is like basically kind of a robot or like a non-living thing made to live. Okay, this is really hard to describe. A semblance is basically exactly what it sounds like. It's like a fake. You can make a semblance of a person, but semblances aren't alive. That's what you have to remember. They can be almost anything. Cole gets he gets sold to the Sky Raiders because he sucks, and the Sky Raiders are basically in Sambria, which you remember is like the Sambria's magic is like just making stuff out of nothing. It's pretty cool. I like Sambria. In Sambria, there is a thing called a cloud wall, and it's pretty weird, but there's two giant cloud walls off this like huge cliff, and the space below it is like infinite. So if you fall, you like just fall forever. And there's a thing on the brink. Cole is basically the Sky Raiders are a company that operates on the brink that salvages these castles and oh frick, I forgot to mention the castles. Yeah, so there's these castles that spawn basically like I think the Eastern Cloud Wall, and they fly over, they float. They're just floating castles, and they float over for like I don't know 10 days until they get to the Western Cloud Wall and just go through it. Nobody knows what's on the other side, and there's just there all sorts of castles. There's like metal ones, there's like copper ones, there's like they could literally be anything, and they have semblances on them. They have treasure. So these companies basically they fly out to them in these little like flying ships, and they salvage them. They're the Sky Raiders. They're salvagers. Um, and Cole new recruits are the scouts. The scouts are actually the ones that basically scout it. They're the first ones on these castles, and they just see if anything's dangerous on them, or um, or if there's anything worth taking. And it's really really dangerous. Like a lot of them die. Like basically all of them die. But if you do like 50 missions, you can like upgrade to not a scout. You can be like on the ship, whatever. Anyway, Cole he's at the Sky Raiders, and the Sky Raiders slaves, they aren't treated completely horribly because they're respected, because they're doing extremely dangerous things. So they're actually not treated horribly, but he's separated from his friends. He is the only person from this slave group that got sent to the Sky Raiders. So Cole's basically his whole mission is to find his friends, rescue his friends and all the other people, and find a way home. But people keep telling him as of now, you can't go home. People keep telling him even if you find a way, like a portal back home, one way or another, you'll end up back here, like in the outskirts. So Cole doesn't really believe them. He's like, I'll find a way. I'm the hero. But Cole's out the Sky Raiders. He does some missions. They spend a while on the missions. They don't really matter much for the plot, though. I guess what does matter is he gets each like scout or everyone there has a special item which shaped, so it has like magical properties. Cole gets a jumping sword, which basically you can point it at something and you can say away, and you'll freaking flow. You'll fly that way, and it'll like slow you down at the end. But it's really good. I mean, this like carries him through like the entire book. Cole's nothing without his jumping sword. But he does a couple missions. His first mission is like extremely scary, but he gets like this shawl, which we don't know what it does yet. I hope it isn't crazy, but right now it does nothing. But he like wears it. I don't even know what a shawl is. I'm gonna be honest. I'll look it up after this, but I'm not gonna. I'm doing this in one take. He also gets a bow that has infinite arrows, which I'm not even getting into how. There's this big thing that happens on one of the castles. Anyway, what you should know is that he does a heroic thing because a mission goes horribly wrong, and he saves this girl called Mira. Mira, you should remember, because Mira is very, very, very important. He saves her. He saves her life, and but her like mentor, I guess, dies. And Mira she's not a scout because she was supposed to be a scout, but she has some shaping potential, and that's valuable. That means she's a lot more valuable than a slave, so she's not a scout. But she was actually down on an island because they thought it was safe, but he saved her. So she's like, oh my god, thank you. This old guy, when he saves Mira, I forgot what his name is. It's like Dandalus. No, Dandalus. Whoa, 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 holy spoiler. I don't even remember. Okay, whatever. It doesn't even matter. This old guy, he's Mira's like mentor. He's always like, he's basically training her to shape. He's like, there's a lot more to Mira. You got to stick with her. Promise me you'll keep her alive. And Cole's like, okay. Not without freaking 3 pages of Cole's train of thought, but whatever. I like it actually. I'm not complaining. Cole is he's talking with Mira, and Mira's like, I need to tell you something. I don't think she reveals it yet, but whatever, we're gonna like find this out anyway. It's pretty obvious. I don't think even Cole catches on until she like directly says it. Her father is like the high shaper of the outskirts. He's like basically the high king. A long time ago, he had like a bunch of daughters, and they were all really strong in shaping. They all had crazy, crazy strong shaping powers. So basically, he wanted their shaping power all to himself because he's evil, and he like took it. I guess he just kind of like took it. I don't think this is ever explained how he did, but yeah, he like used some dark magic. I think there's a name for it, but we like never learn about it. I could be wrong, but he steals it and then he tries to kill them, but then they they like live. I'm not completely sure if he faked their deaths or if they like survived. So basically he tries to kill them and they survive, and they like get split up. Their mom's like on their side, by the way. So there's 5 girls, oh no, and one for every kingdom. But this was a very long time ago. So all these girls are split up and like, in hiding. But because their shaping power was stolen, they stopped aging. So it doesn't come up much, but Mira is like 200 years old or something. She's like crazy old. And she's like 12 in the book. I think she's a little older than Cole. She might be 13. Wow, great. Well, basically she just tells Cole crazy thing, but Mira is actually Princess Miracle. Yeah, they all have like weird names like that. So she's a princess, Mira. She's like in hiding, and she needs Cole to like help her. And Cole's like, "Oh yeah, I'm down if you can like help me find my friends and free them," because he learned a lot of them were sent to the High Shaper. At least he like heard that. So she's like, "Okay, I'll help you if you help me." And they start planning an escape because Mira needs to go. She got a signal from her mom. It's a star that basically she doesn't know what it meant. It just meant like leave. So they're planning to leave. They're like gonna dip, and then something happens. This guy pulls up to like one of their dinners, like because they all ate together. Everyone, he like pulls up and he's like, there's a bunch of legionnaires approaching, and they want a slave. I need that slave quick. He doesn't really matter until later, but basically Cole's like, whoa, a bunch of legionnaires, because legionnaires are the soldiers of the High King. So he's like, Mira, we gotta go. And then these 2 other freaking dudes like come along with them. They basically help them, and they're pretty important. I haven't really mentioned them, but they haven't been that important yet. These are Jace and Twitch. Jace is like a hothead, and he's like completely in love with Mira, and Twitch is like exactly what his name sounds like. He's like a twitchy guy. There, Mira has a jumping sword. Jace has like a rope that stretches out and can like grab stuff. And Twitch is, his item's secret. He hasn't told anyone. Spoiler alert! He's like a bug. He has a ring that can revert him back to his true form, which is a bug, because he's from a different kingdom, and he's like a grasshopper guy. He can like kind of fly. They bounce, then they're like, oh my god, we gotta leave, like these legionnaires, because there's like a 500 legionnaires and they want Mira. So they hop on a sky boat, which is the things the sky raiders use to get to the castles, and they're like, zipping around. They're like leaving. So the legionnaires, they like rob the other boats, and they're like right after them and just floating. I mean, it's a slow battle. And they're like, okay, we can't do anything because they're like running along basically the brink and chasing them the skyboats. So the skyboats are slower than a horse, so they have nowhere to go. They're like trapped. So they're like, okay, well, we'd rather, if they catch us, Mira's gonna be like tortured, and then they're just gonna kill all of us. So they just fly through the cloud wall, which is the dumbest thing ever. I mean, they're like, oh, we can hide in it. I don't know, whatever. They fly through it, and it turns out there's a giant vortex that like eats everything on the other side, like huge. But then they fall into it, and then these like they actually get saved by a kid named whatever. He's just like an incredibly powerful shaper, like super powerful. Liam. His name's Liam, and I get he made like the smiley face that Cole talked to in like the beginning. Turns out they're on a secret hiding place of the Grand Shaper of like Sambria, because there's like the High King, and then there's like basically five mini kings of each kingdom. I don't know how the government works. He's in hiding because the High King's evil. Yeah, apparently his hiding place was behind the cloud wall. There's like a couple like people in hiding on this like secret island behind the cloud wall, and they help them. They're like, Princess freaking Mira reveals like her secret, and they're like, yeah, we know, and they help him out, whatever. This takes so long, by the way. There's so much that happens here that doesn't matter. They give him like some things to help him out, and they're like, oh, you need to go get your power somewhere in here. They realize where Mira's power is. It is actually manifested. It's leaving. It's like kind of slowly leaking out of the High Shaper, like her power, and it manifested into Karnag, which is just a giant shaping beast. He's like, I kind of picture him. Okay, I basically picture him like the house thing from Amulet, but I'm pretty sure that's close to what he's described as. But he's basically just a bunch of shaping power manifested into something. And also at this point, Mira, her power, she still has powers because it's like leaving the High King and it's going a bit to her, but it's mostly going to Karnak. So she has like small, tiny powers. Like she can like make a sock out of thin air, but she should be able to do way more. Um, so yeah, her freaking power is Karnag. They need to go kill Karnag and get her power back. And it's like running rampant through Sambria. It's like killing a bunch of people, but it's actually not killing. But we don't know that they like because they like give them a carriage to like leave, and they like go through this like weird forest. I'm dumbing this down so much, but there's not much to explain because nothing in this part really matters, I guess. A lot of the stuff in Five Kingdoms doesn't matter, but I like that. So yeah, basically they go through the Boomerang Forest, which is this weird forest. They go through this giant forest, which like you can't talk. They go through Brady's Wilderness, which is a shaper who went Nova. He basically went insane and shaped a bunch of stuff. So it's like um whatever. They just kind of get to Karnag, and long story short, they outsmarted Karnag and killed her because it's Mira's shaping power. Cole saves the day. The boss battle was like long, but Cole saves the day because that shawl that did nothing. It actually allows you to control. If you put it on a semblance and tell them, then you can like order them around. So he like puts it on Karnag and is like, give all your power back to Mira. And, like she just does. So yeah, Cole saved the day, and we're on to book 2 because they need to go help Mira's sister, which is in the next kingdom. So 5 kingdoms, there's 5 books. Wow, really, really creative, Brandon Mull. And there's the recap. I kind of explained a lot more at the beginning than the end. There was a lot of stuff that happened between when they left the like hideout behind the cloud wall and killed Karnag, but it really doesn't like matter, which I'll get into later. But yeah, let's move on to another section. All right, in this section, I'm just going to talk about the exposition of 5 Kingdoms because I feel like it deserves its own section. In 5 Kingdoms, I don't everything is described in so much detail. Literally everything. Like when I say we follow Cole's train of thought, like we really do. And a good example is the beginning, like the very beginning. We get introduced to Cole, and he's going to school. He like sits down in class next to Jenna, who you remember is his crush, and oh my god, we actually get probably 3 pages. Okay, maybe not 3 pages, but we get so much of his train of thought of basically him being like, I don't like Jenna, like I don't have a crush on Jenna, and this lasts so long. Oh my god, like I encourage you to like rent this book from your library. I don't know, find it because it's everywhere. I mean, but nobody reads this book for some reason. And try and read the first chapter and you'll know what I mean. So Cole frequently does this thing where someone will say something and he'll think of an answer, or like he'll think like I don't know, just think like a person does, but he'll put that in words. Like we get to see exactly what Cole thinks, and then he'll make a conclusion from that, and then make a conclusion from that, like from everything. And then the other thing is that like so much of what Cole does and like sees and or just stuff that is described doesn't matter at all. Like it doesn't contribute to anything. And the first chapter again is a really good way to see this, because while they're going from when Cole is in the classroom and goes to the haunted house, there's a bunch of stuff just in that really doesn't matter. We get a couple like things of like how Dalton is like a little freaking puss. I guess it kind of develops Cole's character because he like stands up to Blake, but like Blake's bullying. I don't know, he's just being a bully kind of. But we get this heroic scene of him be like, hey Blake, don't be a bully, which doesn't matter. Again, like Blake doesn't really come up for a very long time. And then we also get like this like weird tangent of like Jenna's like, oh yeah, go to the that giant like flagpole, go to that. And Cole's like, oh yeah, that flagpole. And then he like thinks, he's like, yeah, like everyone knows that flagpole. That flagpole, like that guy, whatever his name is, like puts that up every morning. Like he's been doing that for like 20 years. But like this doesn't contribute to the story at all. Like, and it never does. This never matters. And so much of Five Kingdoms is just stuff like that. And a lot of people don't like that. Like I get that, but I actually do. Like I really like seeing, I guess, what I don't know. I don't know why I like it so much. But yeah, I'm not gonna do more examples because I don't actually have the book with me. But it happens so much, and if you read it, just try not to be annoyed at it. Try to enjoy it, I guess. All right, let's just get into things I love about Five Kingdoms. And number one is the exposition.
It can get annoying, but honestly, like I don't care. It's fiction, right? Like I want stuff that doesn't matter. I don't just want it to be a main plot, because the main plot isn't that great. But I think Summery and like the whole aspect is so cool. I'm so glad they do these useless things that don't matter. Like they go these little mini side quests that mean nothing.
I also like how easy it is to read. It is not a hard read at all, which obviously it's written for freaking babies, but I was like a baby when I read it. And I still love it. It's even easier than I remember. It's Brandon Mull, okay? I mean, it's like Fablehaven, okay? I don't think there's a single word in there that a baby couldn't read. Whatever. Sue me, okay? I can read harder stuff. I just like Five Kingdoms. The other thing is I really like it develops these 4 main characters. Dalton, Jenna aren't really main characters, by the way. But the 4 main characters, Mira, Cole, Jason, Twitch, like it really develops the relationships between them. And we really get to see like just what they're like with each other. Like each individual one, what they're like with each other. I guess Mira and Twitch don't really talk, but that's kind of it. Everyone else interact. I mean, actually, they even do. Like, they're just the least, I guess. I just like the book. I can see it's not the greatest book. It really isn't, and I'll admit that. It's 100% not that good. But I think it is. I mean, it's not like The Freaking Giver. It's not Animal Farm, okay? It's just a weird random fiction book, all right? Whatever. There's a bunch more I like about Five Kingdoms, but it's just that I like it. Like, there's nothing really more that's super specific. I really like Sambria. I really like the book. I like the world building. All right, let's get into the bad things. Yeah, I know there is lots of problems with Five Kingdoms. I know. Okay, again, the exposition, that can be a bad thing for some people, and it is definitely not needed a lot of the time. A lot of the stupid side quests they do don't mean anything. Okay, also the main overarching like story, it's not that good. I mean, come on, 5 Kingdoms, 5 freaking lost princesses. Like, come on. I mean, I know it was written for kids, but let's be real. That's not the craziest story. Like, it did not surprise anyone when Mira was like, oh, like her daughter's like, you know, the high shaper, her daughter, his daughter's like, I don't know, they're somewhere, but like I just know things, you know. Like we know you're the princess, bro. You don't need to freaking hide it. I don't know how Cole didn't realize that. I mean, I'm gonna ignore the facts, the like things that come from it being written for like 13 and 14-year olds because there's a lot of problems that come with that. There's a bunch of little things, and I'm actually gonna kind of rat them off because there's nothing big about Five Kingdoms that sucks besides that like it's not like Oscar worthy. I don't know what the award for books is. New York Times. Everything has New York Times. It probably this probably has New York Times. For okay, let's just let's rat them off like bullet points. One thing, Mira doesn't. After Mira gets her powers, she like never uses them ever, and she's supposed to be really powerful, and she like never uses them. Um, Not just that, all the shapers are super uncreative. I don't. It doesn't seem like they get tired after shaping a bunch. I mean, I know they do, but like these shapers should be shaping everything, literally everything. Like they are underutilizing it so much. You can make something out of nothing. Oh my god. Another thing, and this pisses me off. When they're behind the cloud wall, the guy there and they're like giving them gifts. They like those gifts suck. They actually completely suck. Like they could just give them more because again, they could just make it out of thin air. Why don't they just give them like I don't know, like rad haircuts? Like they could literally just do that. They could have given them like guns. Okay, no. The gifts they were given are like never used, by the way. So one of them, they were gifted like this basically bag of fog by I forget his name, but it's I mean, it can like release a bunch of fog. He like says you can like release it behind you for escape. They never use that ever. It is never brought up again, which is so annoying because it's like cool. I mean, I know it's not the best gift, but why would they be given it if it's never going to be used? Brandon Mull just forgot about it. He completely forgot. And he forgets about stuff a lot. Like, there's this gem that Cole finds on one of the Sky Islands that, like, if you kiss it, you never lose it. It'll always, like, come back to you. And he actually does remember about this for a little bit for some reason. Like, he must have been writing and be like, oh, yeah, that. Because, like, Liam mentions it. But after this, I'm pretty sure it never comes up again. But it like that itself is useful. Like that's a cool item. So there's a couple like cool things that are made about this world. One of them is that the days are like super inconsistent, which I thought was a super cool thing. Like they could be 4 hours, they could be like an hour, or they could be like 3 days long. And I guess this doesn't matter much, but it never comes up again as per usual. Another problem is that Jace and Mira never go anywhere. And like okay, a little spoiler. Actually, no, I'm not. Actually, no, that is a spoiler. They never nothing ever happens between Jace and Mira ever. Like they don't even like. I think eventually Mira like just reveals like, oh yeah, I know he has a crush on me, and that's it. But this is like dragged through all 5 books. Another thing, the coach or like the like basically trailer thing that they were given, to like help them get to Karnag. It was one of the gifts. Again, wow, these gifts suck. It's slow, and its only mode is slow. Again, he can make it fast. Like he can just like make like, oh yeah, have a fast mode. But no, it can only go at like a horse's trot. Just oh my god, make it fast. I guess this isn't really in the first book at all, but spoiler alert, Cole eventually gets powers, and when he does, he is so overpowered. He is so OP. It actually honestly ruins the 5th book. But still read it. I mean, okay, don't not read Five Kingdoms because like the 5th, you'll know the 5th book's bad. It's not that bad, I guess. Whatever. There's a lot of bigger problems, huge problems that I have with the books, but none of them are really in the first book. I guess I could continue the series, and I will anyway. I don't have any problems with the first book, any major ones besides these, and those were just nitpicks. The first book is pretty good. It doesn't have a ton of problems, ton of huge problems at least. This is me from the future, actually. This is a couple hours later. But I just remembered, I forgot to talk about one inconsistency real quick. They are like 6th graders. These guys are 12 and 13. Actually, I don't even think 13. They're like 11 and okay, maybe they're 13. But like they're 12. imagine a 12-year-old in your mind. Like, they are very little. A 12-year-old is not the difference between 12 and like 16. Like, two 16-year-olds could probably beat up an adult. How many 12-year-olds could beat up an adult? You'd need like 8. And like 12, a lot of the things they do, they are 12. I just, okay, it's hard to explain because technically a 12-year-old could do all these things, but I honestly don't think they could. Like, a 6th grader. When I think of myself as a 6th grader, bro, like, keep in mind, everything they do, they're 12, and it doesn't make any sense. Except Mira, she's like 2,000 or like 200 years old. And yeah, let's move on to the next section, where I just kind of wrap things up. I'm going to tell a little bit about why I've read it a bunch of times. But yeah, let's move on. Okay, so do I recommend reading Five Kingdoms? Yes, I do. Are you serious? I mean, what would you expect? What I rate it? Wow, 10 out of 10. Obviously. So the reason why I've read it like maybe more than 20 times, probably about 30 times, is when I was little, we had an iPod, one of those little, like, I'll put a picture up on screen, but we downloaded a bunch of books on there because we didn't have internet, and one of those books was Five Kingdoms, and I would connect it to a little speaker and just listen to it every single night because I ran through them. I mean, there's only about 30 books on this thing, so I would listen to all of them in a month, and then all of them again, all of them again, repeat. I could put a list of the books I remember because I love them all because I grew up with them. But I could make videos about those, and I probably will anyway. I mean, I doubt, I doubt many people are gonna click on a Five Kingdoms video, but the people that did, thank you for watching Five Kingdoms. All right, thank you for reading Five Kingdoms because there's not many of us out there. I guess if you guys have any suggestions of books to read, I'll read them, unless like they're like sucky. I could also do reviews of these books which I've read recently. I don't do a lot of reading. I'm not I'm not a crazy reader, but I do like reading. Thanks for watching, and read Five Kingdoms.